is the Victoria Tower. And I usually ask all our passengers at this moment in time, can any of you see Big Ben? Well, of course, the answer to that, I'm afraid, is no. It's a bit of a trick question. Because I know they call it Big Ben, I do sometimes myself, but Big Ben is not the clock. Big Ben is the 13.5-ton bell which chimes the hour inside the Westminster Clock Tower. It was named after a man called Sir Benjamin Hall. He was Minister of Works who was erected in that tower, and he was a tiny little short person, about 5 foot tall. He was also about 5 foot wide. He looked like a bell, so they nicknamed the bell Big Ben after him. The bell was cast in foundry in Whitechapel in the East End of London. Do you know it took a cart and 22 horses to drag it up through London before it's erected in that tower? And something else you might not know about that clock face. It looks quite small from down here, doesn't it? Did you know that you could drive a red double-decker bus through that clock face and it wouldn't even touch the sides? That's the Palace of Westminster, the seat of the government here in England. Now, as we turn the vessel round, ladies and gentlemen, towering above us, just behind us and soon to be on your right, is the British Airways London Eye. Now, before somebody says, no, it's not, it's owned by a company called Enron, well, I know that, but I call it the British Airways London Eye because it was 11 years ago that British Airways first laid plans to build the Eye here in London, and at that time most people were laughing. They said it would never work, it would be a waste of money. But I can tell you they're certainly not laughing anymore. Everybody in the world wants one of these now. The reason they want one, in its first year, 11 years ago, when it was only £5 to go on the London Eye, British Airways took a profit of in excess of £55 million. Today it will cost you £18.50 to go on the Eye. It's 450 feet high. There are 32 capsules or pods which hold up to 25 people in each one. And it isn't just a random number, they represent the boroughs of London. There are 32 boroughs in London. And you can do many things on the Eye. You can hire one of those pods for a private function if you wish to. We think they should rename it and call it the Wheel of Fortune. Because every time it does one revolution, it earns the company that owns it today, Enron, around about £14,000. And that's going around every half hour all day long. Now once we pass the London Eye, look across here to your left, you'll see a big impressive building with green roof and Union flags flying. This is the Ministry of Defence, and outside it there you'll see the RAF Golden Eagle Memorial to all our airmen and our women who lost their lives during the 2 world wars. The eagle faces towards the continent because it was thought that many of them lost their lives over on the continent, and the inscription on the roadside reads, "Through adversity to the stars." The beautiful Gothic style looking building next door to it is Whitehall Court Mansions, former home of the Liberal Party, one of our political parties. But it isn't their home today. Today it's all been changed into luxury apartments and the 5-star Horse Guards Hotel. Many years ago though, many famous people lived here. Oscar Wilde, Lloyd George, George Bernard Shaw, President de Gaulle and Dame Barbara Carlin all had apartments in that building at different periods during their careers. Ahead of us we have the Charing Cross Railway Bridge, the busiest railway bridge in London. During the rush hour, a train will pass over this bridge in and out of London every 2 minutes. On each side of the bridge there are 2 pedestrian walkways. These are known as the Golden Jubilee Walkways. They was owned by Her Majesty the Queen in the year of her Golden Jubilee, which was about almost 10 years ago. Now once through the bridge, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to look to your left-hand side, and over there on the north banks of the Thames, you'll see a rather tall obelisk guarded by 2 Egyptian sphinxes. That column over there is called Cleopatra's Needle, and that stone you're looking at is in actual fact older than London itself. Did you know that that stone over there is over 3,500 years old? And just think about this. When the Egyptian stonemasons in the deserts of Egypt was etching those hieroglyphics onto the side of that stone, the pharaohs was walking the earth in Egypt. That's how old it is. It was given to this country by a man called Muhammad Ali. He was the Viceroy of Egypt, and he gave us that for Nelson's defeat of Napoleon and the French fleet at, excuse me, at the Battle of the River Nile, one of the most decisive naval battles in our country's maritime history. Now ahead of us is a very large bridge. It's called the Waterloo Road Bridge. We all call this bridge the Ladies' Bridge. The reason we call it the Ladies' Bridge, this bridge was completed and built by over 80% of female labour during the Second World War, when most of our men was away fighting for king and country. I think the ladies of London made a very nice job of this bridge. You know, it's the largest bridge in London to span the River Thames. So there you are. It's over a quarter of a mile long, so well done the girls. But there was a man in charge. Well, he thought he was. Once through the bridge, over here to the right, you'll be able to see the ugliest building in London. It is in fact the National Theatre. It was voted by some of London's top architects as being the ugliest building in London. Now, I've been in there, it's very nice inside, but from the outside, it looks like a multi-storey car park, doesn't it? And you know, I'm not on my own thinking that. Even Prince Charles, our heir to the throne, he doesn't like this building either. He wrote about it, he said it reminds him of the back end of a nuclear power station slap bang in the middle of London. Well, we all know that Prince Charles likes the older things in life, don't we? And if you look over there to your left, he absolutely adores that lovely building there. That is Somerset House, built for the Dukes and Earls of Somerset, later used by Admiral Lord Nelson as his war office during the Napoleonic Wars. It then became a registry office here in London, a registrar of births, marriages and deaths. We call it Hatcham, Matcham and Dispatcham, and today it's been taken over by your friend of mine, Catcham, the taxman, the Inland Revenue. The large white vessel to our left is the Wellington. Now she's a sloop from the New Zealand Royal Navy, given to this country by the New Zealand